So we have the flat earth model. Now, before I go to my points, I want you to take a look at this model. Take note of the sun in reference to the moon in terms of its distance, in terms of its angle. Take note of the earth below it in reference to how it's laid out, the distances of the countries, because all of these things are going to lay the foundation to the points I'm going to address momentarily. Okay, so just take a look, just let it sink in, let it simmer. Right, now I see a number of problems with this model. Now, for the sake of time, I'm only going to point out 5, possibly 6, but I'm not going to go no further than 6 points at the very most. I could point out a lot more, but I don't want to be here all day. So we're going to just stick with either 5 or 6, depending how I feel by the time I get to 5. Problem number 1. Now, this is a 2-part problem. Now, the first part of the problem is what I call light angle or light direction. Now, we can all agree that the sun is a ball of light or sphere of light, whatever terminology you want to use, whatever suits you best. Now, it's obvious. I don't even have to go into the mechanics of it. A ball of light is going to emit light in every direction. Now, this is a problem for this model that you see in front of us, because anytime you see a video footage of this model, you normally see the same thing: a bright circular patch of light that represents day, surrounded by a dark shadow which represents nighttime. Now, a ball of light simply wouldn't behave in this manner, because, as I said, light will travel in every direction. A ball of light does not act like a spotlight or a flashlight. So when you see the video footage of this model illustrating the light above it, it's behaving as a spotlight, as a flashlight. And this is totally inaccurate in terms of the laws of physics. Now, instead of give me a thumbs down or arguing me, I would just say, just upload a video, go into a dark room, make it as big as you like or as small as you like, take a small bulb, circular bulb, and suspend it wherever you like in that room, slightly above the floor, from the ceiling, from the middle. Doesn't matter where you suspend that ball of light, or the closest thing you can get to a ball of light, which is obviously a light bulb, right? And see what happens. See if you get that circular patch like a spotlight shining on the stage, following a dancer or a comedian on stage. That black shadow effect, or surrounded by a flat circular patch of light. You won't get that. I mean, and even if you did get that in a dark room, it would be quite gradual. Of course, directly underneath the ball of light, it will be the brightest patch, but the edges of that bright patch will be a gradual what's the word I'm looking for? It will gradually fade. It's a gradual fade into darkness. Now here lies the problem again. Even if you were in that dark patch as an ant, let's use an ant or an insect. You're in that dark patch as an insect. As far as you're concerned, you'd see a bright glow in the distance, and your surroundings, even though it'll be dark, but you'll still witness a glow. You'll see, because the light is still reaching you, even though where you are is fairly dark, but it'll still have the light, that glow, reaching you, simply because of the size of the bulb in the volume of the room that you've put the bulb in. Okay, this is not a representation of nighttime as how we experience it and how we see it. If anyone's been to the Caribbean, especially like my parents' island of Grenada, I'm telling you now, it's pitch black in some parts where there isn't any street lighting. It is the only natural light you see if you get a clear night is the stars or the moon. It is pitch black. Even if you're a white person and you put your hand in front of your face, you won't be able to see your hand. It's pitch black. So if this was the case with a flat surface with a ball of light, you wouldn't get pitch blackness, because that glow of light would just destroy that. Light destroys darkness. Even if it's dim light, it will still overcome darkness. That's the first part of the problem. Now for the second part of the problem, still on the subject of the angle of the light, or the direction that light travels in. Observe the sun in reference to the moon. Look at the height. They're both the same height, or approximately the same height. The angle's the same. They're both horizontal. They're on a horizontal angle from each other. Now, this would put on a flat surface, this would produce an all year round full moon, because there's no obstacles between them. So we don't get a all year round full moon. Now, the only way you're going to get this result on a flat surface, what we see in reality, is if the sun then changed its angle and it went above the moon on its present height on the flat Earth model, and instead of having a horizontal angle, you now would have a vertical angle. So the sun would be directly above the moon. But then you will never see a full moon, because the rotation of the moon is going horizontal, unless the moon change its orbit and start to go in a vertical orbit. You see the problems this poses. Whereas if you're on a globe, you could easily get this angle, and you could get a full moon at the same time being on a globe. This shots of the moon as we see it totally fits a globe model. It does not fit with a flat surface at all. If you want to argue with me on this, I'd like you to upload a video demonstrating how you could get these angles, these light angles, on a flat surface with the sun at a horizontal angle, with the sun and the moon orbiting in a horizontal orbit. Just upload the video. If you want to argue, I mean, you can give it a thumbs down if you like. I don't really give a shit. You can argue what you want, but the best thing is to upload a video and prove me wrong. Just show me how this can be done on a flat surface at that angle. Problem number 2, daylight hours. Now, a lot of people are totally unaware of this, but on each of the poles you have prolonged daylight and prolonged nighttime. How long am I talking when I say the word prolonged? I am talking 5 months of day, 5 months of night, depending on what season it is. In the summer, you have 5 months of daylight. In the winter, you have 5 months of night time. So here lies the problem with this model here. I don't see how you can have 5 months of daylight on the North Pole. Let's focus on the North Pole, because obviously flat Earth believers do not believe in a South Pole. Doesn't matter. South Pole or North Pole makes no difference whatsoever. It's still the results are still the same. So, referring to the North Pole, I can't see how you can have 5 months of daylight hours in the North Pole while everywhere else is experiencing day and night. I'd love for a flat Earth believer to upload a video demonstrating on a flat surface how you can have 5 months of daylight while everywhere else is experiencing day and night of a 24-hour period, etc., 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 as the man said in The King and I. So that's problem number 2. Problem number 3, the moon face. Now, I'm here in London in the Northern Hemisphere, and whenever I see footage of the moon face from the southern hemisphere, be it video or photograph, the moon face always appears reverse to how it does here in the northern hemisphere. In other words, upside down. So whenever I've mentioned this to a flat earth believer, they always say, yada, 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 we've heard all that before. Okay, fair enough, you've heard all that before. But I'm intrigued. I would love to see you demonstrate how this works on a flat surface, how the moon face appears one way up in the northern hemisphere, and when you get to the southern hemisphere, it appears upside down. So you're more than welcome to upload a video and enlighten us all on your infinite wisdom how this works on a flat surface. The stage is yours. Problem number 4, the eclipse. How does the eclipse work on a flat surface? Now, as you've observed, the angle of the sun on the flat earth model is horizontal. So unless the moon changes its orbit or the sun changes its orbit, how do you get a perfect round shadow on the surface of the earth as you get in reality when you have an eclipse? Because even if the moon was to place itself right in front of the sun, you wouldn't, in front as in the horizontal, at the horizontal angle, you won't get that perfect circle on the surface of the earth, and the angle of the shadow, it may even miss the earth, to be honest with you, unless you have the earth a lot bigger. But in order to get that perfect circle, the sun would have to be above the moon vertically. That's the only way you're going to get an eclipse as we see it in reality. So again, I'd love someone to upload a video and show me how the eclipse works on the flat earth model. Again, the stage is yours. Last but not least, problem number 5. The limited sight of star constellations. Now, as I've stated before, I'm up here in London, the Northern Hemisphere. I cannot see the Southern Cross. I've never seen the Southern Cross star constellation. Now, I could understand how this works on the globe. But again, for those who want to give the thumbs down and argue, okay, I'm going to just save you some finger energy. Why don't you just upload a video showing how this is possible on a flat surface? The stage is yours. Just show us how this is possible, that we can't see the Southern Cross star constellation on a flat surface. Show us how this is possible. So we arrive at my final thoughts, my conclusion of the whole flat earth movement thing going on. Now, I'm going to piss a lot of people off when I say this, but what can I say? I don't really care, to be honest with you. But this is my conclusion, and I'll tell you why I have arrived there. I think this whole flat earth movement thing is an attention-seeking scam. It's a movement, yes, and people join this movement because they want to be part of a movement. I don't really know what their true agenda is, but I think regarding, believing the earth is flat, I think you all are fake. I don't think there's not one of you that actually believes the earth is flat. I think it's a big scam. Credit to you all. I give you credit. You pulled the wool over our eyes for quite some time. Encourage us to make videos debunking your theories, and it wouldn't surprise me if you're actually laughing at us, that we've fallen for the scam. And credit to you. I give you the thumbs up. I give you the thumbs up for pulling off a good joke, a good scam. I bow to you for that. But why I arrive at my conclusion. I mean, like, for example, just take the example of a ball of light and putting information out there that it behaves like a spotlight or a flashlight. Nobody over a certain age is that dumb. And even if you're under a certain age, I just put that down to just learning. Like, if you're like a 3-year-old, there's many things in life you need to learn and need to understand. So, yeah, if you're below the age of 5 or so forth, that's excusable because there's lots of things for you. But once you pass a certain age, I do not believe anybody is that dumb unless they got some severe mental problems. And I don't think the majority of you flat earth believers do have mental problems like that. I don't believe you are that dumb. If you want to argue and insist that you are that dumb, I simply don't believe you. I don't believe you. I think you're fake. I do not believe that you believe the earth is flat. I think it's a big scam. I keep repeating myself. It's a scam. And we've been had. And like I said, again, credit to you for pulling the wool over our eyes. But that's my final conclusion. You could argue all you like. You could make the reply videos all you like. You give me 1,000,000 thumbs down. I don't care. You are fake. I don't believe you. I just do not believe you. Thank you very much. That's my final conclusion.